Losing a loved one is devastating, and when that loss is caused by someone else's negligence, families may have legal rights. Today, we're talking about wrongful death lawsuits in Michigan. We've got attorney Tom Sinas here to share more on this topic. Good morning, Tom. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. So let's talk about what is a wrongful death lawsuit in Michigan?
Great place to start. One of the strange things about the practice of law is that sometimes we have very unhelpful labels for things, and every once in a while you get a label that is a little more helpful. And I think the label, wrongful death, kind of summarizes, of course, the two most important concepts. The first, of course, is the passing of someone, and the second is the notion that that person's passing was caused by the wrongful conduct of someone else, or perhaps more than one person. So those are the two essential elements. We take it for granted, I think, in our modern society that there are legal mechanisms, there's legal recourse in the event that somebody is killed wrongfully, but it didn't used to always be that way. If you go way back in time, we had rules across the country that said when someone passes, their legal claim passes with them. But now in Michigan, as I think is true in every other state of the country, we have these concepts commonly called wrongful death that provide for legal recourse when someone is killed wrongfully.
Okay, perfect. So now is wrongful death, is that considered part of personal injury law?
Great question also. Yes and no. Yes, in that both personal injury law, as we would commonly think of it, and wrongful death have this same concept, the notion that someone was harmed by the wrongful conduct of someone else. So yeah, in that sense, it's true. But beyond that, it's very different because of the procedure that is required in a wrongful death case versus a personal injury case. Let's say, heaven forbid, you were injured and you had a personal injury case. Well, you could go out and you could hire a lawyer, and that lawyer and you could work through your case, and maybe you would settle your case, and all that would be handled basically on your own. That doesn't apply in a wrongful death case, of course, because the person has passed away. So the first thing that has to happen in a wrongful death case is you have to have someone officially appointed by a court to be the person who's prosecuting the wrongful death case. And we call that title the personal representative, or PR, as it's sometimes known, the personal representative of the decedent's estate. That appointment of personal representative is done through our probate court system. And there are different mechanisms by which it can be done, but it has to be done through the probate court system. And only when you have a personal representative appointed can you then proceed to prosecute the wrongful death case.
Okay.
At the end of a wrongful death case, because you have court involvement at the beginning, you also have court involvement at the end. So wrongful death cases, if there's a settlement, always have to be approved by a court. Could be a probate court, could be what we call a circuit court, but you have court involvement on the beginning and the end because you have a situation here where someone else, the PR, the personal representative, is prosecuting a claim on behalf of someone who's deceased. And so inherently you need court oversight in that process.
Okay, so talk a little bit more about who can file that claim, who can be the personal representative, and then, how can they get the losses? How can they recover those losses?
Yeah, another great question. Almost anyone could be a personal representative if that person was appointed by a probate court. The most common people to be personal representatives are the ones you would naturally think of. A spouse, for example, the parent of a child, the child of a parent, if it's an adult child. Those are the common types of appointments for personal representatives and the ones that the law sort of prefers. But that is a different question than who can claim losses. The losses are not limited to those claimed by the individual who also may be the personal representative, but the wrongful death law recognizes we have a category of people, of family members, who can claim losses. Losses for what? Well, on the one hand, what we might call economic losses, things like lost income. On the other hand, things that are sometimes called non-economic losses, which I don't think is a very helpful phrase, but in this case, it really refers to the value of the lost relationship. And those types of claims can be made by the decedent's spouse, the decedent's parents, children, grandchildren, and siblings. So this is your class of what we might call claimants, people who can claim those type of losses. which is much broader, of course, than the one person who's the personal representative pursuing the claim, which is exactly why, as I said earlier, you have to have court oversight of this process because all of these family members have claims and all of them have a right to make those claims and to have their claims be considered as part of any settlement.
Wow. Hard to put a price tag on that, though, I'm sure.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. That is always, of course, the hardest thing in any wrongful death case.
Absolutely. All right. So could you give us a couple of examples of where a family would want to do this or could do this and talk to us about how they can come to you for guidance?
Well, my general advice here across the board is ask, reach out, get a free consultation. Like our law firm provides free consultations. If you have a loved one who passed away as the result of someone else's conduct, you should, because this is such a complicated area of law, you shouldn't make any assumptions about whether you have a claim or whether you don't. You may not, but that's what a law firm like ours is here for. So people can feel free to contact us if they've had something like this terrible happen. They can find us online at sinusdramus.com. They can give us a call in West Michigan at 616-301-3333, or they can shoot us an email at info@sinusdramus.com. We have people here who are ready to receive those inquiries and provide that consultation if people have questions after something like this terrible has happened.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for all of that insight. Much, much appreciated. Again, sinusdramus.com for more information.
Thank you.